Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Harry Tuerk. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Ingolf Tuerk was born in September 1961 in Germany. He goes by the name Harry. After serving in the Air Force, he went to medical school in 1983. He graduated in 1989 and worked as a surgeon at a hospital in Berlin. His specialty was urology. In 2001, Harry moved to Virginia and spent 6 months there before moving back to Germany. In 2003, he moved to Massachusetts, where he was a pioneer in laparoscopic and robotic surgery. In 2008, Harry became the chief of urology at St. Elizabeth's Medical Center in Boston. As far as his love life, Harry had been married twice and had 2 children during his second marriage. His second wife filed for divorce in 2015. When the divorce was finalized in May 2017, his wife gained primary custody of their children. In August 2017, Harry moved into a newly built 5,400 square foot mansion at 29 Valley Road in Dover, Massachusetts. The home was valued at $1.7 million. In November 2017, Harry became romantically involved with a woman named Kathleen McLean after meeting on Bumble. She claimed to be an energy healer, a psychic, and a medium, and she ran her own alternate healing service. I guess this is alternate as in she offered an alternative to being healed. Kathleen had been married twice. She had 3 children from her first marriage. In April 2018, Kathleen and her children moved into Harry's mansion. At work, Harry had some difficulties. In May 2019, he was placed on leave from his job at the hospital. He had been accused of falsely billing Medicaid $31,000 over a 6-year period. The allegation involved Harry billing patients as if he saw them personally, when really other people were seeing them. In November 2019, Harry came to an agreement with the Attorney General's office and agreed to pay a $150,000 fine. He was fired from his job at the hospital. In December 2019, Harry and Kathleen went to Las Vegas because Harry wanted to go to a medical conference. According to Harry, Kathleen obtained a marriage license without his knowledge. After consuming a lot of alcohol at a bar, Harry woke up the next day and remembered that he and Kathleen had been married in a drive-through wedding venue. He was in the passenger seat of a rented Jeep when this happened. Consistent with the quality of the wedding, Harry was not happy. Nothing says supersized commitment like getting married in a place that can double as a burger joint. Even a side of fries was not going to make this wedding more tolerable. On January 31, 2020, Harry spoke to a divorce attorney. Kathleen found out about this and was upset. On February 3, she went to the police and accused Harry of physically mistreating her on multiple occasions. Here are the allegations that she made. In December, prior to their wedding, Harry attacked her when they were in bed, slamming her head into the headboard and trying to strangle her. In January, Harry picked her up and threw her to the ground during an argument. She hit the floor so hard her shoes were knocked off her feet. Later in January, Harry picked up a scissors and said, "I am the blanking king of this castle. You are only a guest." He cut off a piece of her hair, and her hand was cut when she tried to stop him. The last incident involved Harry pushing Kathleen to the floor when she was sitting on his lap. Again, all of these are just allegations made by Kathleen. She was granted a restraining order against Harry. He was charged with assault and battery and strangulation/suffocation. After he allegedly turned down the thermostat in the mansion remotely, he was also charged with violating the restraining order. Kathleen continued to live in Harry's house on Valley Road. Despite this, he obtained permission from the court to sell the house. Kathleen knew that she would not be able to stay there too much longer. In April 2020, Harry and Kathleen decided to reconcile. Harry claimed this was Kathleen's idea. She indicated that she wanted half ownership of the house. Harry agreed to these terms and signed the deed. All of a sudden, Kathleen was on board the reconciliation train. She told people that Harry had a breakthrough in therapy and agreed to go to couples counseling with her. On May 2, 2020, Kathleen asked the court to remove the restraining order against Harry. Kathleen wrote, quote, "I feel safe and would like to bring my family back together with my husband. My goal is to salvage our family, including reuniting with my husband as father and stepfather to my children." Unquote. On May 13, 2020, the judge granted Kathleen's request as far as the restraining order, but would not dismiss the criminal charges. Harry was still not permitted to return to his house as a condition of his bail, but he ignored that restriction. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On Thursday, May 14, 2020, Harry Tuerk returned to the family house on Valley Road for the first time since the separation from his wife in February. The family had dinner and played a board game. It was the game of life. Little did anyone know that one of them was about to lose that game, literally. Harry and Kathleen went to the master bedroom. One of the children heard a thump later on. When the children woke up on Friday, May 15, the door to the master bedroom was locked, and both Harry's Mercedes G-Wagon and his Jeep were gone. 45-year-old Kathleen McLean was missing. The police were contacted and immediately suspected that Harry was involved. At about 10 a.m., they found him at a residence inn in the town of Dedham. He didn't answer the door to his room, so the police had a clerk open the door. Officers found Harry unresponsive. It appeared as though he had tried to bring harm to himself. He was transported to a hospital. The police searched for Kathleen. They forced entry into the master bedroom of Harry's house and found broken glass on the floor. On Saturday, May 16, Harry woke up in the afternoon. Here is the story that he supplied to the police. On Thursday, May 14, Harry and Kathleen had been drinking. When they were in the master bedroom, Kathleen became jealous over an email that a female friend had sent to Harry. She struck Harry in the head with her glass. In response, Harry wrapped his hands around her neck and strangled her. After she died, he realized that he went too far. When the police asked Harry where Kathleen was, he said he could not remember, but he did mention a vacant mansion not far from his home. The police searched there and noticed something white floating in a pond at around 11 p.m. It was the body of Kathleen McLean. She had 2 rocks in her yoga pants weighing her down in the pond. Her cause of death was strangulation. Harry Tuerk was charged with first-degree murder. His trial started on March 27, 2025. Harry testified that he snapped when Kathleen smashed the glass over his head. She flailed when he strangled her. They fell to the floor together. When he came out of his blackout, Kathleen was not responsive. He attempted CPR, but was unsuccessful. Harry dumped her body in the lake because he did not want her children to find her remains. On April 10, 2025, Harry Tuerk was found guilty of the lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter. He will be sentenced in May 2025. He is facing up to 20 years in prison. Now moving to my analysis. Harry Tuerk maintains his innocence, and he was found guilty of a lesser charge. His supporters argued that Kathleen was essentially a greedy con artist who tried to cheat Harry out of his fortune. She didn't really love him, rather she just wanted his money. The state, of course, disagrees. They argue that Kathleen was the victim of a violent and unreasonable husband who refused to respect boundaries. In the state of Massachusetts, first-degree murder requires premeditation. Second-degree murder involves intent to kill, but no premeditation. And voluntary manslaughter involves killing someone in the heat of passion as a result of reasonable provocation, sudden combat, or excessive force in self-defense. With all this in mind, was Harry Tuerk guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that he was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. There is no question that Harry killed Kathleen. He admitted to causing her death. After killing her, Harry disposed of her body, which suggests consciousness of guilt. According to Kathleen, Harry perpetrated multiple acts of domestic violence against her. At the time of Kathleen's death, Harry was not supposed to be in his house as a condition of his bail. When Harry testified in his own defense, he said he only used one hand to strangle Kathleen and he performed CPR. However, he never mentioned those claims when he was originally interviewed by the police. Harry did not say anything about being struck by a glass until an hour and 20 minutes into the police interview, when the police introduced that scenario as a possibility. This idea came to the police because they found the glass on the bedroom floor. Harry indicated that as he was strangling Kathleen, she was fighting back, but he continued to strangle her. The state argued that this could establish premeditation. Several hours before he was arrested, Harry sent a text message to friends, which read, "She is a vindictive devil. She played us all." This doesn't sound like someone who just defended themselves from a glass-wielding aggressor, rather someone who discovered the true nature of an adversary. Moving to the exculpatory factors, the timing of Kathleen's report to the police about Harry's alleged domestic violence is suspicious. There is substantial evidence that Kathleen was manipulating Harry to separate him from his money. Only 2 people were in the master bedroom when Kathleen was killed. There is no way to disprove Harry's story that Kathleen attacked him with a glass. There was broken glass on the floor of the master bedroom, and Harry did have an injury to his head. Harry's continued attack on Kathleen as she fought with him was more consistent with heat of passion than premeditation. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I believe that Harry Tuerk is guilty of murder? In my opinion, Harry probably committed second-degree murder in reality, but there is no way to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. By the legal standard, I believe Harry was guilty of voluntary manslaughter. The jury came to the right decision. He intended to kill, but he was provoked and used excessive force in self-defense. Many people watched Harry's testimony on the stand and found him to be likable, articulate, and intelligent. They point out that he saved many lives during his time as a surgeon. Usually, murder defendants who testify on their own behalf don't do themselves any favors, but Harry did help himself on the stand. There is no doubt that Harry is a talented individual who made a substantial contribution to his field. However, that did not give him the right to strangle his wife. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Harry and Kathleen were not a good match romantically. After the drive-through wedding, Harry wanted to get a divorce, but Kathleen was not having it. In order to gain leverage, Kathleen made several accusations against Harry. For example, he attacked her on multiple occasions. He forced her to keep the house spotless, tracked her location using her phone, demanded to see her phone, installed cameras throughout the house, and monitored her weight. Was Harry really some type of demanding and controlling monster, or was Kathleen falsely accusing him to gain leverage? There is no way to know if Kathleen was telling the truth or not. Maybe she was telling the truth about some things and lying about others. Either way, the accusations put Harry in a difficult position and pressured him to consider reconciliation. As a condition for getting back together, Kathleen demanded that Harry put her name on the deed for the house. Nothing says true love like a financially induced reconciliation. Harry unwisely violated the conditions of his bail to reunite with his wife on the day he killed her. Also, both Harry and Kathleen thought it was a good idea to consume alcohol. There is no way to know what happened in that master bedroom, but I don't believe Kathleen struck Harry with a glass. I believe that Harry became angry with Kathleen and strangled her in the heat of the moment. There was no premeditation, but there was intent to kill. Now moving to my final thoughts. One area of focus as far as Kathleen having negative characteristics was this idea that she was trying to take Harry's money. But another area that really wasn't covered in the trial could be this idea that Kathleen was a New Age healer. Kathleen represented herself as a New Age healer, a psychic, and a medium. One could argue that some people in these fields are well versed in the art of deception. They live in a world built on fantasy, where vague insights and cosmic babble are traded for hard cash. Some New Age nonsense brokers are just acting. They don't really believe in energy fields or crystals. They believe in revenue streams. For them, pseudoscience is just a tool to separate vulnerable people from their money. Others, however, are true believers. They are devoted to the delusion. They are not only sellers of nonsense, but buyers as well. Kathleen fell into the latter category. Not long before her death, she told people that she believed the universe was showing her signs that Harry was not dangerous. For example, a number of house finches built a nest behind an ornamental wreath that she placed on the front door of Harry's mansion. The lesson learned in this case is brutal but clear. If a person shops at the marketplace of magical thinking, they should not be surprised if the return policy is fatal. Active buyers in a nonsense market just don't lose money. They gamble with their safety. Those are my thoughts in the case of Harry Tuerk. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.